off.
Okay, so Dr. Jocelyn is still not on the call with us, right?
No, she's not on the call.
Okay, okay. All right, so we'll just go straight into Mr. Moses, is there anything to be said, or do we dive straight into the any questions? You are muted. You are muted. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me? We are going straight into the Q&A because most of our panelists have really answered even the next question. So let's just go straight into the Q&A. For anybody who have a question, they can drop it on the chat or possibly ask by unmuting themselves.
Okay, so any questions? You could raise your hand and then unmute yourself, or you drop your question in the chat box, please. And let your questions be as brief, concise as possible, as brief and precise as possible, please. Thank you.
I don't know if Kure has one of his music here. If we can play, I think everyone's also here. Kure, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
The link. Yes, let me drop the link on the chat box.
Okay.
Okay, I can see us raising up his hand for his question, so you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Asu, over to you. Asu, can you hear me? Asu.
So you're muted. Please kindly unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah, hello. This is Robinson from Sierra Leone. Can I tip in?
Okay, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Thank you.
All right, good evening. Am I audible? Hello, good evening.
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
The question is, despite peace advocacy here and there, why do we still have some people remaining so adamant to embrace peace? Why? Why is it so that despite all of this campaign here and there, then we still have some people that are so adamant that are not peace loving? Why? Why is this so? What happened to those people? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that
Yes,
question.
moderator, can I tip in? This is Mohammed Robinson Sise from Sierra Leone.
Are you asking a question?
Okay.
Just a comment.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Good to have you on, brother.
Thank you, Brother Moses, for having me on board. And it's a perfect discussion. So awesome, and it's so educative. I happen to be the founder and CEO for a youth serving agency in Sierra Leone, giving vulnerable youth, a second chance in life. And knowing that bracket of the population is kind of just fit into the discussion that we're having. So just a short comment here, which I've even sent through our chat box. As the founder and CEO of Youth Build Sierra Leone, I just believe young people are the true architects of tomorrow. If our young or youth people embrace positive norms like respect, positivity, and unity, we will lay the foundation for a peaceful world. It begins with our choices. As young people, the onus is on them to see how they could hold up to the future they are talking about. We've all heard what you guys were saying, that before this time they say the future is for them. But now, that description has long been changed. The future is today. I remember me being here, an older man now. They used to tell me the future is for me. But I'm the same person. So therefore, at any age, we want to see how best we can encourage the young people to be very responsible and try to lay the foundations for a peaceful world. It begins with their choices, the choices we make, and the culture we cultivate amongst the young people. So let's see how best we, the grown-ups, the seniors, the type of role modeling we can do so that the young people can emulate what we're leaving behind for them. Like you said, time is against us. I don't want to bore you with too many thoughts. So that's my submission.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.
Okay. So, our panelists, please, who is going to take the question that was asked? Okay, I can see Beatrice also raising her hand. Okay.
I think we should take all the questions before we allow the panelists to
Okay,
comment.
so Beatrice, please unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I was saying I wanted to respond to the first question that was asked about why is it that even after doing a lot of peace building awareness and sensitization, people are still reluctant to accept peace building trainings and practices. So I just wanted to respond to say one of the issue is that if we look at most of the instigators, the violators, and the perpetrators of conflict are mostly people in the position of power, people who have control. When I say people in position of power, I'm not only talking about politicians, but even even at your workplace, even at the family, the social setting, even with your peers. If someone has more money, the person can be abusing you. So those violators of who cause conflict, perpetrators and instigators, accepting peace will mean that they have to let go of that control. And usually it is very difficult for someone who has tasted power, who has been through the world and knows how the world works, and how power can just give you that power to do whatever you want. It's like a kind of freedom that no one wants to let go of. So it's usually very difficult. So that was just to answer that question. But I also have a following question to say now, how can we help people who are finding it difficult to embrace peace building, to let go of that power, to let go of that control? How best can we do that so that people let go of that thing that is causing pain to other people? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that question, Beatrice. There's also a question in the chat box from okay, there's no name. But the question says, how can interventions and peace building at the community at the community level, especially within family clusters, be stepped up as domestic violence is becoming the order of the day? Hence, the call for inclusive organizational collaboration for idea sharing, creativity, and enhancement of our goal. From Interfaith Mediation Center. Okay, I don't really understand the question, but okay. How can interventions and peace building at the community level, especially within family clusters, be stepped up as domestic violence is becoming the order of the day? Okay, so our panelists, please, over to you. Okay. I have another question from Mr. James. It says, Nigeria is part of UN and our governments are also celebrating International Peace Day. Why are they incapacitated to promote peace in most of the communities in the nation Nigeria? Okay. Thank you for that question, Sir James. Okay, so our panelists, over to you, please. Briefly, in a few minutes.
So the panelists
Over
will raise their hand and you will pick them accordingly.
Okay. Okay. Evelyn. Okay. Kure. Please unmute. You can unmute.
All right, thank you so much. I just saw that question that said, how can intervention, peace building at the community level, especially within family clusters, be stepped up as domestic violence is becoming order of the day? So this tells me, I'm deep rooted around community engagement, and I've seen some of this thing play out. That's why maybe I don't know, but I'm very sure that is the question you are asking. Sometimes you see a lot of people saying that they are having gender-based violence, they are being molested, they are being abused by even relatives, by friends, family friends, and all that. And by the time you take up this case and say, okay, yes, let us go and get justice for these people because we're trying to fight social injustice. By the time we reach where we're supposed to get the justice, you see the same person that laid this complaint saying that they are backing out. And one of the reasons they'll say they are backing out, they'll say they want to go and settle it as a family at home. So those are some of the challenges we face when fighting these things in the community. We're all trying to help out people at the grassroots. So one of the things I would say, linking with the first person question, is that um, we all preach this thing every day and we're not seeing change. We're talking about this social behavioral change, and it takes long, right? It takes long. It's not something that you see within 1 or 2 weeks. It has to take long because some people have an ideology already, and just like we have in Nigeria, we have so many persons in Nigeria whereby religion, culture, and all that are also playing their roles. So for us to be able to change it in totally, it has to take a very long time, but slow and steady. And that is why we must use every platform we can. With this one, we can use the grassroots involvement with the young people. We can use the use of storytelling. Storytelling goes a long way. We can use either blogs, we can use picture storytelling, goes a long way. I also train people on use of creative advocacy, like use of cartoons and all that. So cartoons can go a long way in also informing people and changing the narratives. Use of cartoons, use of infographics and all that. So little by little, when these things are on their faces and when these things are on their ear, some of these things are going to change. I just hope this answer your question on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kure. Okay, Funam, please unmute. Miss Funam, are you with us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes. So I want to share a different strategy that I think can work to the question on how can interventions or peace building at community level, especially with family, be, stepped up. And there's a good practice that I like to take from our friends in the US, right? Once a call has been made for a domestic complaint, so domestic violence, domestic battery, whatever it is, it goes out of the hands of the person who has complained, right? So the person cannot now revoke the person's complaints. Now it's a matter for the police to follow up on, right? I think the situation in Nigeria is that because I can lay a complaint and I can withdraw it, even for something as serious as domestic violence, change will not continue to happen because the husband can go behind the scene and convince the wife to withdraw a complaint, or the wife can go behind the scene and convince the husband to withdraw the complaints, right? Depending on who the perpetrator is. But if we can change the law to say for domestic violence, once a complaint has been made, whether by the victim or by the community members, maybe the neighbors, be your neighbor's keeper. If you hear something, do something, report. then I think that will go a long way in changing the way we approach, domestic violence, because there's no justice without peace, right? So that now it's not at the police level or at the religious leaders level or traditional leaders level, whosoever is in charge of maintaining the peace of that community, to then investigate what the issue is and provide justice, regardless of if the person, withdraws or, or rescinds his complaints. So for the other question on Nigeria's, despite the fact that Nigeria is a signatory to a lot of the UN, UN treaties, peace treaties and all of those things, and yet what we're seeing is not happening in country, is because there's a lack of accountability that is happening, right? How do we track? For instance, Nigeria presented progress on the SDGs at the high-level political forum that happened in July in New York. And, just us as Nigerians sitting in the audience and listening to what our government is saying that they are doing, and we're just looking at ourselves and giving ourselves the eye and saying, wait, that really happened? Is this really happening, right? And so, but then again, none of us is going to say anything because, we're at the UN and, we want to maintain peace, quote and unquote, right? And so, but because there's no accountability, how do we track government's progress on some of the things that they've signed, on some of the laws that they've domesticated in the country? I think that's still a very huge problem. And, I'm happy to hear from friends from on the call on how we can solve the accountability problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that beautiful answer. Okay, Evelyn, please you can unmute and go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess I'd like to say two things. One is, with all the issues that we hear about, I think it's very useful to keep in mind that in any conflict, it's usually apparently 10% of the population or 10% of the decision making is for the conflict, and 90% of the population and those affected are against conflict. Unfortunately, our news is very much focused on the negative. So we are switching the 90 and 10%. So I just wanted to inject that. And in terms of what can be done, I'd just like to go back to a formula that the Aga Khan Foundation has found very effective. And that is where whenever there's an issue, the individual can say they identify the problem, then they identify what they can do themselves, and then they identify somebody who can help them. So that this clarifies the issue, it clarifies what the individual can do about it, and it also reinforces the importance of seeking help from somebody who can offer support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Evelyn, for that. Okay, Mr. Tom, please unmute your mic and go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Joy Nagodi. The chat shows many serious conditions within families, war and conflict within Nigeria, harm, governments creating harm. The question was asked, how can we shift people out of hatred, out of the desire to hurt others? I forget who the lady was who asked the question. Beatrice asked the question. And for me, we know the statement, right? Think globally, act locally. I can't come to Nigeria and teach people how to make peace and say to the government, look, would you please take care of the people? I can't do that. I have to act locally here with the people I'm with. I have a circle that we meet on WhatsApp where I've taught people in Africa the meditative state technique that I use. The basis, I put this in for Miss Beatrice, the basis for peacemaking is kindness. The intention to be kind to another person. That has to start with every one of us. And so what I do is I teach people to be kind. They try it out. They find that it works. I teach them how to be calm so they can be kind to people who are angry with them, to people who in their workplace, who harass them and treat them in bad ways. I teach these people in my circle, and they use the technique of staying calm through breath awareness and a certain mental state. And they say, I can be calm to this person. I can be kind to this person. And that takes some creativity.